'Twas a few days before Christmas, and all through my mess, I still trust that my God is a blessing to press. I'm caregiving daily, still strumming guitar, with 2 little podcasts that have carried me far. I played a dozen shows, only one didn't pay, and now the shutdown hit me, stopped my check for the day. The loss of funds, Lord knows, don't do much for my cheer, but I'm holding on steady as the season draws near. I still got bills waiting, but I did what love does first. Bought my son some Long Johns and my daughter a shirt. The house looks like the Grinch, made a home in my den. No lights on the porch, no tree shining within. I expect no visitors, no cards in the mail. Just echoes of Christmas that steady my trail. So in spite of the struggle, the shutdown, the hurt, the bills on the table, the Long Johns and the shirt, I'm still lifting this season with whatever light I've got. Because hope doesn't need a mansion, just a warm and willing spot. So Merry Christmas to all, and Happy Holidays too. May joy find your doorstep, no matter what you're going through. Hey, there's more. I want to give you a year in review of all the things that I've done this year, and I want to thank you for being a part of that journey. I'm really, really grateful that you're listening, downloading, and subscribing to Behind the Rose with Reverend Ken Blanchard.
Behind the scenes, inside the dreams, stories of the performance and the real-time journey of the bluesician. Open your ears and your heart to our friend and brother from another mother, Reverend Ken Blanchard.
All right, I want to give you some behind the scenes stuff. You know, it's a major milestone for me. 2025 wasn't just about where I went. It was about what I said and how I said it. Faith's Journey became Broken and Believing. That's my other podcast. This wasn't a rebrand. It was a revelation. You know, Faith's Journey is a good title, but it was crowded. Too many voices with the same title. Too many echoes. Not enough room for raw blues-soaked honesty that defines my ministry. So, Broken and Believing is unmistakably mine. I believe it speaks to the people I serve, the ones who are hurting, but hopeful, wounded, but walking, cracked, but still carrying some light. It's the heart of my ministry, distilled in 3 words. And it just marked the beginning of a movement, not just a podcast. Thank you for listening to Behind the Rose. This is my newest podcast. This was the other half of the transformation. It gives me a place to talk about the craft, the fretboard lessons, the stories behind the songs, the disciplines of practice, the spiritual side of music, and the journey of that guy I call the bluesician. And it's intimate, it's honest, it's legacy work. So together with these 2 podcasts, they form a complete picture of who I am. Broken and Believing, my soul, behind the rose, my craft. 2 lanes, 1 voice. Here's what 2025 taught me. Consistency is its own ministry. Showing up month after month builds trust and momentum. Remember that. You can use it too. My identity is integrated now. Pastor, musician, storyteller, advocate, not separate things, one calling expressed in different ways. Community matters more than crowds. I've learned that this year. Farmers markets, family gatherings, bike rallies. These are the places where real ministry happens. And in my 60s now, I've learned that podcast shifts aren't cosmetic. They're spiritual. They're strategic. They were necessary. My voice has never been clearer. I'm building something bigger than just events. This year laid the foundation for Broken and Believing, for new music, for civic engagement, for storytelling, for legacy. I'm looking ahead to 2026. I want to preach with more intention, play with more freedom, write with more courage, build community with more depth, and keep telling the truth through sermons, through strings, through stories, and through podcasts. If this year taught me anything, is that I'm broken and I'm believing. I am behind the rose and I'm still becoming. I had 16 events, 10 gigs, and 5 preaching engagements. Yeah, 1 major cultural gathering. It's pretty cool. My first gig of the year was Valentine's Day. A reminder that the blues is love music too. Honest love, grown folks love, the kind that sits in the chest and hums. Yeah, I had more preaching gigs than I had in about 10 years this year. My first sermon was in March of this year. Preached again in April. Had 2 gigs in May. That was amazing. In the summer, I had a gig on Father's Day weekend, and I played before my family. In July, I had Indian Bike Week. That was a milestone. That's a world all by itself. Chrome, engine, stories, and the kind of people who appreciate authenticity. For 6 days, I lived in the intersection of culture, community, and a calling. It was kind of cool. Indian Bike Week reminded me that ministry can happen anywhere, even in a parking lot full of motorcycles. It was the most active season of the year, and that was in the fall. Started off at the farmer's market in September, where I met some people. Didn't get paid for it. That was all marketing, basically, for me, and a chance to try something new. Got a chance to preach again in October, had a Halloween gig, and had a gig in November. Another crowd. Preached again in November. Another gig in November. Let's see. Thanksgiving weekend, just last couple of weeks ago. And I had one on December 6th. Yeah. Then there was I just finished preaching at another place last week, I believe. That might be my last sermon for the year. And it was a good close of showing up in every way I know how. So 2025 wasn't just where I went. It was what I said and how I said it. And I want to thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to this show. Following me. If you've been looking at my YouTube videos, hopefully you see some growth there. Definitely growing physically. I think my head is bigger. My shoes are tighter. I got to get bigger shoes, a bigger hat size. I think I'm just getting fat. But I am growing in other ways too, in spite of all my circumstances. So, like I said before, Merry Christmas to all, and Happy Holidays too. May joy find your doorsteps, no matter what you're going through. Until next week or next year. Shalom, baby.